Hey Bookish Babes, and welcome to day 3 of the 12 days of Bookmas. For those that are new around here, the name's Rainy. I read all different types of books from all different types of genres, so if you're interested in that, like and subscribe to my channel down below. It really helps my channel grow. In today's video, we are going to be talking about my 24 books that I have to read in 2024, and we're also going to be doing a bit of deep reflection on how the year of 23 and 23 went. And let me tell you, did not go well. Not even a little bit. I'm pretty sure I read 8 books. Now, to be fair, I had no strategy when I went going about this. I had no plan. I just picked books, okay? And that is where I went wrong. That is where I ultimately went wrong, because it is not enough to just choose books. You have to have content ideas or reasons that are going to make you pick up the said book, right? And I didn't have those. I shot my own self in the foot in the beginning. But I'm going to do better. I am going to learn from my mistakes this year. So first we're going to reflect on what I learned. Then we're going to actually look at the list, see what I read, what I didn't read, what I still have plans of reading. And then we're going to create the new list of 24 books to read. And we're going to do much better this year. Okay? This is the year of success. I feel it in the air. Okay? Okay. So first off, I realized I put books on there that I didn't even own. That I didn't even own physically. So, like, is there any hope for me? No. Books that I didn't own physically. I also put books on there that were like a couple down in the series, and I just didn't have any hopes of picking those up. I also picked up ones that, to be fair, don't really reflect my style of books right now, because I got a lot heavily into fantasy romance this year and like dark romance and stuff. Okay, my camera, the memory card was completely full because my sister used it the other day to take a billion photos and didn't take them off, so I had to transport them to another device. Second, I know the air is on. I will turn it off in just a second, but for this clip, it's going to be on. Anyway, as I was saying, I just did not do myself any, I did myself a disservice with the books that I chose. And so I'm ready to change that. So now, before we go on to what the books I have chosen are, we're going to let you see a little flashback of Rainy looking at her 23 and 23 tracker and take you on a journey of where we went wrong with these books. It was bad. All right, friends, we are going to start and rock and roll with it. This is my 2023 book tracker, okay? So let's start over here with How to Sell a Haunted House by Grady Hendrix. I don't love Grady Hendrix, but I knew that this was going to be on Gabby's book club pick, and I think it was on a couple of book club picks, and I did read this. Gave it a 3-star. Was not that good, and there was way too much puppet crap. Way too much. Then we get to Happily Placed by Emily Henry. I did read this. I did not enjoy it nearly as much as everybody else. I think I gave it a 3.5. It was perfectly fine, but it was not my favorite Emily Henry, like, by far. Then we had All the Dangerous Things by Stacey Willingham, which I had put on here because I had absolutely loved A Flicker in the Dark, but I just didn't get to it. I'm not as much in my thriller era right now, so it is what it is. Then we have The Only One Left by Riley Sager. I was going to read it because it is a bunch of people's book club selections, you know, in the summer, even though I don't have a great track record with Mr. Sager. But this one knocked it out of the park. I gave it a 5 stars. I was living my best life with this one. I had a really great time with it. Then we get to The Boyfriend Candidate by Ashley Winstead, which I did read. This is kind of like a sequel to her other romance, but not really, even though it follows like the sister of the first one. But even though I gave this one a 4-star, even though I enjoyed it more than the first one, which I gave a 5-star to, but my tastes have changed. So, like, I think I like this one more than that one. But it was just alright. Her romances don't really do anything for me. They're honestly way too political. Then we get to Midnight is the Darkest Hour by Ashley Winstead, and I hated this book so much. I 1-starred it. I'm very, very upset about this, and I had put it on here because I love everything that she writes, because I put her romance on here, and so I thought her thriller would knock it out of the park, and it sadly did not. Then we have Legends and Lattes by Travis Baldree, which I did complete. Everybody said it's like their favorite cozy fantasy, and it was just a 3-star for me. And what's even worse is I already sold the book. I know. Shame on me, right? Then I picked Brother by Anya Alborn, and this is a prime example of when you choose a book that you don't own. And I have not read it because I do not own it. And yeah, I could get it from the library, but I'm not gonna. Then we have Tricky Magic by L.L. Campbell. I think I wanted to read this because Chantel from Nell's Novels has recommended it, but did I get to it? No. Do I own it? Yes. But I did get to Miss Magnolia Parks, my baby, my queen, my royal gem, my number 2 book of the year, okay? Also, the air has just kicked on. This is a fabulous book. Very toxic, very Gossip Girl-esque, but it's the vibes, man. The vibes. Then we have What We Do. We Do What We Do in the Dark by Michelle Hart, which is supposed to be like this sapphic sad girl lit fic romance. And I did not get to it, but the girlies still want to get to it one day. We have Jade Legacy by Fonda Lee. I did not read this. I'm not ready for my heart to be broken. You might see this book again on 2024. Okay? Okay. You going to see it? You going to see it. Then we have got The Kana by Runix, and I have not read this yet, and I own a special edition copy of this, and I ordered the Bloom special edition. I own so many copies of this book, and I have not read it. If I hate it, y'all, I'm going to die. I'm going to die. Then I have Beach Read by Emily Henry, and I have not read this, and this is the only Emily Henry that I haven't read, and I still have not read it. Well, actually, it's the only of her popular contemporary romances that I haven't read, because she did come out with a couple of books before this, actually. Then we have Catherine House, which I did read for Bestie's Book Club in January, and I loved it. I had a 4-star. I didn't really exactly know what exactly was going on in it, but it gave bunny vibes, and that's really all I needed to love it. Then we had Behind Her Eyes by Sarah Pinborough, and I do still wish that I had read this book, because I do want to read this book. I just did not simply get around to it at this time, unfortunately. Then we have The Grace Year by Kim Liggett. So many people have said how fantastic this book is. Do I believe any of these people? Sure, but it didn't convince me enough to read it, unfortunately. The First Day of Spring by Nancy Tucker. This is a thriller I've wanted to read. I've tried to get to read it so many times, and then I just never prioritize it. I need to get my life together. Same for Middle Game by Shauna Maguire. I also really want to read this book. Have I read it? No. Do I have a plan for it? No. So it's just going to go down the totem pole. Same for Project Hail Mary by Andy Weir. So many people say I'm going to love this book, and I want to love this book. I really do. So, help me love this book. Then we have A Little Life by Hanya Yanagihara. I just have to know what the torture porn comment is all about. I just have to know. I just have to know. I just have to know. We have Pen Pal by Nathan Auerbach, which is supposed to be this horror book that's little that I should have read already, but alas I did not, so will I love it? Will I hate it? Don't really know. And then we have Master of Salt and Bones by Carrie Lake, and I actually really enjoyed this, but this is a very dark romance, sadism and all this other stuff in it. But it was darn good. So if you see, I only read 9 of these books. A lot of these went unread. More than I care to admit, honestly. So why don't we go look at what I have planned for this year and hope that I can turn things around, shall we? Okay, so these books are not in any semblance of any order at all. Also, I keep yawning because it is very late, so I'm going to try my best to get through this as quick as I can, okay? I'm not going to give synopsises of these books. I'm just going to say why I want to read them and maybe tell you a little bit of the content vlog that I was going for, because all of the books that I picked, I have specific vlogs or content ideas already in mind for, and I'm not going to share all of them, but I will share some of the reasons. And the first one is A Fate of Wrath and Flame by K.A. Tucker. This is a fun fantasy romance series by the same author that wrote The Simple Wild, and I absolutely loved that, 5-starred that, so I wanted to see if her fantasy romances could get the same feelings out of me. Honestly, I just want to read a lot more fantasy romances. This is the year of fantasy romances, or romantasy as some people like to call it, and so I want to prioritize this, and that is why this is on this list. We have Fireborne by Rosaria Munda, and this is a trilogy about dragons, and everybody's basically said if you didn't love Fourth Wing, this is a way better YA dragon, fantasy retelling. Or not retelling, but fantasy. And I did love Fourth Wing. I know that it is not good, but I had a great time with that. However, I'm still very intrigued in reading this one, and so I definitely want to get to this. I would love to maybe do a dragon vlog type thing where I read a bunch of dragon books, so maybe read Iron Flame in this one as well, because I haven't read that yet, so we'll see. Then I have Priest by Sierra Simone, because I really want to know what this book is about. Bree from Four Paws Out of Books loves this so much, and has gotten many people to read it. And I want to be part of the clan, especially because I have the original covers. And let me tell you, hunting down the OG covers for this series was quite a journey. Let me tell you, I may have paid more than I wanted to for Saint, but it is what it is. I have all of them, okay? I have all of them. So I'm very excited to read this. I know that it is obviously about a priest that goes awry and ends up doing things that priests should not do. And I'm here for it. Then we have The Heir by Sophie Lark, which is the first book in the beginning of the kids of the Mafia family from the Brutal Birthright series. And I did exactly what I said I wasn't going to do. And I put a book on here that requires me to read other books before it. But I did that with the intentions that I would get to the beginning of this series. Because I still have 3 more to read in the Brutal Birthright series, which is the parents of these kids that go to basically a Hogwarts Academy for Mafia kids. And so I want to be able to start reading this series, so I need to finish the other series, hence why the first book in this series is on the list. And it is a chunker. But, I mean, the pages are all like that, where it's all broken up very, very easily, so I'm not really worried about that. But I'm very excited to see where we get in this series, because I love Miss Sophie Lark. I love anything she writes. Then we have another dark romance, and we have The Predator by Rhodes. I want to read the Dark Verse series by Rhodes next year. I want to read it. I own 3 of the books. I need to buy the last 2, and I know the 6th one is coming out at some point this year in 2024, and I'm very excited to read this. I know I just watched a vlog where Larry read this, and she absolutely had like the best time with this, and I love Larry reads. We stan Larry reads, honestly. And so, yeah, I want to know for myself what happens in this series, and so we're gonna try to get more dark romance and more fantasy romance on the docket for this year. Then we have Miss Cleopatra and Frankenstein by Coco Melors, and honestly, this is for my sad girl lit fic moment. I feel like every girly pop wants to have that, and I want to have my sad girl lit fic time in the sun. So this is a book that I've been wanting to get to. I feel like this screams sad girl lit fic. How many times can I say that in a minute, friends? Can I? And I just want to know what it's all about. I know it's an age gap romance, and it's just giving. Like, honestly, the cover is the whole reason that I bought this book. Like, it was just screaming. It was just giving. Like, it was the moment for me, okay? So let's make it the moment. Let's give it the justice it deserves. Then we have yet another romantasy, but I shouldn't go in saying it's a romantasy because everybody says it's not, and it's really more a cozy fantasy, so I'm going to go in with that vibe. And it is Assistant to the Villain by Hannah Nicole Mayer, and it is with the sprayed edges. I learned that the reason it is not actually a romantasy is because this is a TikTok girly that wrote it, and everybody said, oh, well, this TikTok girly wrote it, but it was like a cute book, but like it's not really a romance. However, I'm very excited to still read it. It seems like it could be a fun time, so we are going to give it our all. Then we have The Measure by Nikki Erlich, and I have been wanting to read this for a long time. It has deckled edges, which I love, and this was going to be part of a vlog of buying books that I bought immediately when they came out because I thought they were going to be the best thing ever, and I never got around to reading them. And honestly, there's very many of those. Very many of those, and this is just one of those bad boys, okay? So these are books that I thought I was going to love, so I went out on opening day, and you know, it just, something held me back. Something did. I'm a little sad about it. Then we also have Beartown by Frederick Bachman, and I cannot say why this is on the list because this is for a secret video that's coming out hopefully sooner than later. But I've been wanting to read this. I know Neva loved it. I know Kelsey loved it. I know Kelsey finished the whole series and Brittany finished the whole series, I'm pretty sure. And so I'm a little bit behind with my Frederick Bachman, like, Beartown hockey journey. But I'm excited. But I'm a little scared of it wrecking me because A Man Called Ove was so freaking sad. And have I watched that movie yet? No, because I don't want to be hurt, y'all. I don't want to be hurt. Then we have my first Mariana Zapata book, which is all Rhodes lead here, and it is an age gap romance. I want to do an age gap romance vlog, so you're going to see another book for that in just a minute, but I'm very excited. I've heard that she writes really great slow burn romances, and that this one is one of her best ones, although it is a chunker, but I'm very excited. I'm also very excited that I have the original cover. If you can't tell, I'm all about being an original covers girly, okay? Like, that is just everything that I want in this life. But I'm very excited for this age gap romance, and I hope that it is the best time ever and gives me all the dark romance vibes. Then we have yet another age gap romance book that I've been itching to get to for a long time, and that is Birthday Girl by Miss Penelope Douglas. I've been wanting to read this for a hot minute. I'm very excited to read this. I've heard it's really great between Pike Lawson and Jordan, and I just want to know what all the girlies are talking about when they talk about Birthday Girl. I want to know, okay? Maybe I should read this on my birthday. Although, maybe I shouldn't. Because what if it's too crazy? What if it's too out there? What if it's too wild? I don't know. That would be fun, reading books about birthdays or birthdays in the title. That could be another potential vlog right there. The ideas just keep coming. Then we have Magnolia Parks The Long Way Home, which is the 3rd book in the Magnolia Parks universe. And I need to read this. I also really need to read Daisy Hates the Great Undoing. I honestly need to reread the first 2 because the audiobooks have come out now and I want to, like, live in the audio, because the 5th book, the final installment in Magnolia and BJ's part of the story, I think she's writing one more for Daisy, Christian, and Julian, is coming out in February. Am I ready? No. Am I ready to say goodbye to Magnolia and BJ? No. 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 I love them. I love them so much. I honestly want a tattoo of the bumblebee or the weather. Okay, how's the weather, Parks? How is the weather? If you know, you know. If you don't, you don't. I just need to be in this world again so that I can break my heart over and over and over again. Then we have a book that everybody says they're not going to love because it's literally about high schoolers, but then everybody says it like wrecked them. And that is the Binding 13 Boys of Tommen series by Chloe Walsh. And I'm going to put book 1 on here. Now, are these covers great? No, they're honestly pretty ugly. However, I wanted the original covers yet again, so that's why I have them all. But this is about high schoolers. I know that I think it has hockey or football or some sport, or maybe it's rugby. I don't really know. But everybody can't talks about how much they love it. However, that font is small. That bitch be small. And this is like a 600-page book. And this is only book 1. And the audiobook is so old. This came out so long ago that the audiobook is split into 2 parts on Audible. And luckily, I got it on the Audible sale, so I only spent $6 for both. But this came out in 2014, and there are 2 audiobooks to this. That is just wild to me. We have the Hurricane Wars by Thea Guanzin. Once again, we're getting into our fantasy romance era. I bought this recently, so this could also go in the recent vlog that I didn't actually read right away, but I do want to read it this year. I am very much in love with fantasy and romantasy, so I just want to read all of the things. Then we have Blood Mercy by Vela Roth, and this is about vampires. And honestly, I just want to do a vampire vlog because I love vampires. I love vampires so much. I love them with my whole being. And this is a big book, but I'm very excited to read it because I have heard it's very good, but I've heard it's also kind of political, so I'm not really sure if I will love it so much, but like the cover itself is like stunning. Like honestly, this should be sitting out on my shelves because this is giving. And we have One Dark Window by Rachel Gillick, and I really want to read this. I really do want to read this. I just want to read this and know what it's about and know why all the girlies either love or hate this duology. I also want to read Two Twisted Crowns because I know it just came out recently, but I can't wait to read this. I know that it has tarot cards as part of the magic system. I just need to know what this is about, okay? If anything, this is the reason that I made another 24 in 2024 because I wanted to read this book. So I'm going to prioritize this way sooner than later. Then we have My Goddess, The Ashes and the Star-Cursed King by Carissa Broadbent, which means I really need to reread Serpent and the Wings of Night, okay? Because I don't want this duology to end. First off, it's stunning underneath. Second off, I know she's writing more in the Crowns of Nyaxia series, and I really hope that she is getting to work on that sooner than later because I really need it. But I don't want this to end. I don't want Rain and Araya to end yet. I just don't, okay? I have a problem with ending series, which is why not only is that one that I need to finish, but I need to finish Jade's Legacy. I need to do it. I'm going to put it on here for the 2nd year in a row, and I am going to finish it. Whether or not people die, I need to know what the hype is all about. I need to know what everybody says is one of their favorite fantasy series ever. I mean, it already is on my list for that, but like, I need to know. The last couple of books I'm just going to pop up on the screen because they're too difficult to grab in my bookshelf. The next one is Mad Honey by Jodi Picoult. And honestly, this is going on there because I have about 3 or 4 books left of hers before I've read her entire backlist, and I could do like a Jodi Picoult ranking because if you didn't know, like Miss Girly is like one of my favorite authors ever. And so I figured I would at least put that one on there, so I'm getting towards my goal of reading their last 4 of her books. But I also plan on just reading them regardless. But this is the one that I want to read the most because I've heard this one is like the most like reminder of like old Jodi Picoult times because like her writing has changed a lot, which I mean obviously makes sense because like writers' writing changes, but like if it ain't broke, like don't fix it, you know, right? We have another popular one on here that, yes, I have not read this series yet, and yes, I want to read it soon, and that is A Court of Mist and Fury by Miss Sarah J. Maas. I have read ACOTAR 2 times now. 2 times. And I need to move on with the series because I know that once you get to book 2, it just spirals from there and you get addicted. And I want to be addicted. Haley Hughes has even finally read these now, and she's not a fantasy romance girly. So I don't know what I'm doing with my life, but I want to know what chapter 54 is all about. So I'm going to read it. I'm going to do it. Plus, I really want to read book number 3 of Crescent City, and I feel like it would be just so much better if I finished my whole Throne of Glass and ACOTAR series before I move on to that. So let me know if that's the best idea to do. Then we also have Corrupt by Penelope Douglas. So she's getting 2 on here because I really want to read the Devil's Night series. Like I literally got all the original covers on a Wild Goose Chase birthday hunt, like at this like bookstore, one of the biggest bookstores in all of Florida that I went to for my birthday. And they happened to have all but one of them. And then I was able to find the other original cover. Like they were already all out of print. I was able to find the one original cover that I was missing for like $30 on Pango, which was like a blessing because most people were selling it for at least like 100 or more. And so I'm very excited that I have the original covers, but I want to read it. I want to know what it's all about, so I want to commit to at least the first one so that like if I don't absolutely love it or if it's taking me forever, like I can savor it and I don't have to like rush through the series because I hate having to rush through series. So that's the plan. And I also have on here The Nature of Witches by Rachel Griffin because I absolutely loved Bring Me Your Midnight. Like it's on my top books of the year for 2023. And so I want to know the rest of the stuff that she's written, especially because I also love witches. So I want to do a witchy vlog, but I want to make sure that I really prioritize her books. And so I figured I'd put one on here. Even though I also want to read her other book that she came out with the year before that was about witches that I can't remember the name of right now. But I very much love her writing style. The way she writes this is very lyrical, and so I want to know what that's all about again. have A Curse for True Love by Stephanie Garber. As you know, I read the Carval series for a vlog, and I am currently working on the Once Upon a Broken Heart one as well. I just haven't read the second or third book yet, and so I want to prioritize that in 2023 or 2024 so that I can come out with that. Plus, I want to see how it ends because I absolutely was loving the first book in the series. And I really, really enjoyed Carval. Honestly, I really enjoy Stephanie Garber's writing, and so I want to know where it continues and where it ends. Plus, I know that the third book is very divisive, and so I want to know, like, am I going to be one of the people that absolutely loves it, or is it going to fall flat for me? And then the last book on this list is Haunting Adeline by H.D. Carlton, because I want to know what the Cat and Mouse Duet is about. I've heard it's very stalkery. I've heard it's very creepy, and I need to know for myself. How creepy is this book? How intense is it? Because I've heard it's, like, up there in dark romance. And so I want to know, can I handle it or can I not? And those are the 24 books that I plan on reading in 2024. And I think I'm going to be a lot more successful this year. In fact, I know it. You bet me on that, okay? I believe in myself. I bet on myself. So with that, I'm going to let you go because I have to get ready for bed because I got to get up early. It's chill week at my school. And I have a couple of other videos that I need to record, so I need to start planning them out for tomorrow. So with that, I will catch you guys in a video in 2 days for Bookmas Day 4. Bye, guys.